Hey, happy Thursday to you. I hope you are having a great day so far. Maybe your day's just getting started, so good morning. Or maybe it's later in the day. I hope it's going well. Either way, welcome to a Thursday edition of 5 Minutes with Phil. And I thank you so much for joining me here today. I want to pick up right where we left off yesterday. We are ending our look at what we call the Beatitudes, where Jesus talks about people being blessed. Blessed are the peacemakers, or blessed are the pure in heart. And Jesus has been kind of given all of these scenarios and these situations where people are actually blessed in his eyes, and here's the reason for it. And we're going to kind of continue the thought that we had yesterday by finishing up and actually reading 2 verses today from Matthew chapter 5. And this is how Jesus kind of closes the introduction to the Sermon on the Mount. And take a look at the screen with me, and here's what he says in verses 11 and 12. He says, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Now, we talked about people that were mocked for their faith yesterday, or maybe ridiculed for their faith. This gets a little bit more specific, where Jesus talks about people who are actually being falsely accused of things that they haven't done because of their faith. Jesus talks about being persecuted. Jesus talks about people saying all kinds of evil against you, making stuff up about you because of your faith. And you might be watching this here today and you say, I can absolutely relate to that, because that is precisely what happens to me. I'm going to repeat what I said yesterday. We see here that there is a very special reward that awaits you in heaven because you're enduring this and you haven't given up. Now, we are in such an instantaneous society that some of us think, well, I don't want to wait that long. I want my reward now. And let's understand that heavenly rewards cannot even compare to any blessing or reward that we have here on earth. Jesus very plainly says, look, your reward is great. Your reward is great if you hang in there and you endure when you go through all this stuff. Yesterday we talked about fighting the urge to compromise our faith, our convictions, to avoid this happening. I want to remind you of what Jesus said here, that even the great prophets went through suffering, and they went through persecution, had stuff said about them that was just flat out lie, had their character challenged. You're in good company. You're in good company with the saints of old. You're in company of the great prophets that we read about in the scriptures. Jesus lumps you together with them. I mean, think about that. Those of us who think, well, I could never compare to Abraham, I could never compare to Daniel, or I could never compare to Isaiah or John the Baptist, and Jesus says, yeah, I'm putting you in the same boat if you go through this. And there's a huge reward that awaits you. This might sound like a time to get depressed. Maybe it's an occasion where you get angry when people do this. And Jesus kind of turns our natural fleshly thinking on its head totally. And he says, this is not a time to get upset or depressed or angry. This is a time to, he uses the word rejoice. To rejoice and be glad. So if this is happening to you, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. So you rejoice. And you be glad, because you've got a great reward coming from God that other people who might even be in your circle won't get, because you experience this yourself. So you be encouraged today in your faith. Stand strong. Amen? All right. Got to let you go. Thanks for joining me. I love you. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.